Alright, hello people in the future. We are doing something like a review, building just a registration login page, Fullstack. So hope you enjoy it. Yeah, we were talking about which one to do first, and yeah, I suggest let's do it the server, because when we know the schema in the server, then in the client we know what to put in the registration form or login. Alright, and let's build it from scratch. So let's open. So our server is empty, client is empty. All right. Okay, let's, so we are in the parent folder, so to say. We want to build in the server. Let's cd into server first. Tell me, what should we do? What do we need? Starting everything from scratch.
Maybe first we need to install some packages.
Yes, for installing packages, the first thing that we need is you know, the faster you interact with me, the faster it finishes. I can wait till tomorrow. Sorry?
npm -1.
Yeah. npm init for initializing the package JSON. Great. Let's see. We have a package JSON. Now we can install things inside. So let's npm install. What do we need for the backend? We already have Express. We need Mongoose. Yeah, .env, okay, or .env, and course we need bcrypt, yeah, for hashing the password. Yeah, just if we forget something, we install it. Let's just have this basic stuff. All right, it's installed. We have the modules folder. The first thing is our server. So let's run our server. Server.js. Import Express from Express. Our app Express. So we're running, so to say, the entire Express function and save it to a variable, name it app or entire application. And so here at the end we're gonna listen to some port. The port can come from our .env. So I'm gonna save the port to a variable. Let's say either I have the port from the .env port, or if there is no port provided in .env, then I'm going to use something else. I'm going to listen to the port. And just a little function for me, just as a console log. That is just running our server, localhost. So whatever is my port, let's say, yeah, I can tell server running on yeah, that's it. That's our server running. Do we need to change something? How can I run this now? If I type npm start, does it work? No. What should we do?
Like model or
Yes. Fantastic. The first thing is changing the type of our application. What does it do, Mickey? By default is common.js and we change it to module. What does it do?
not so sure for the answer.
Wow, you have a very good echo. Anyone else? What does that do? Sinead, do you need live share? I'm gonna share it. But please don't just copy and paste. You have to code along that you get error. Alright? If you just copy and paste, you don't learn anything. I really disagree a lot with this live share, but if you need it, I can give it to you. I need answers.
In chat, there are some answers.
Ah. Improves organization? What does that mean? Shinedo, what do you mean by that?
Like it breaks large code bases into logical pieces.
No.
Or maybe we can use import Jakob's.
That's correct. Where did you say Jakub? Ah, we can use import. Exactly. These things that you import and export didn't exist actually a couple of years ago. You could this in front-end React, so to say, but in backend you couldn't do that. So if you wanted to import something, you had to do it in this way. Let's say you want to import Express. and then you would use require keyword, and then the package, let's say express. This was the way that you see it nowadays in some packages. Maybe ChatGPT when answers you that something, it imports things like that. This is common.js, the type. This one by default. It was for all times. And it had some limitation and so on. So in the new version of Node or ES6, they've added the type module that you could import things in this way. And this is dead. Okay, so you don't want that. If you ask ChatGPT that gives you import things like that, just ask again, hey, I want it as a module. So the import and export these things. Then it's going to change it for you. Okay? That's the reason, the first reason. So type module. If I do npm start, does it work? Still it's not working. What's wrong?
It's script.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to type start.
Yeah, we can say when I type npm. So when you say npm, imagine npm as a person in your application. It's like waiting you to do stuff for you. So when you type npm, that person is just, okay, what do you want me to do? And when you say npm start, then it means it goes to your package.json, it goes inside of your scripts and finds the keyword start. And it finds it here and runs that for you. How to run it? Whatever you type here. What to be run here. It could be a command and so on. What if you name it cat? Then when you say, hey, npm, run cat. Run cat. Because if you say npm start, the start keyword is a very special one. You don't need to say run. So npm run start. You can do, it's all the same. But because start is, I don't know, a common word in the npm, then you say npm start, it knows that, okay, I have to go to a script, run the start keyword. But when you have something named out of the start, like cat, dev, dog, whatever, then you can say, hey, npm run cat. Then the npm knows it has to go to your package.json, find the script, and inside of the script there should be a cat keyword. And whatever you type here, it's gonna run. For example, oops. Hi. npm run cat. See? Hi. Hi is not definitely a command, or it's not a function or whatever. It says, I tried to run this one, but I couldn't find any related action or function or whatever. That's why, so then that's the script actually. So you can use start, you can use dev or whatever. And what we want to do is running, I don't want to use node mode. You did something like dash server, or what did you do for when it changes automatically, then like in node mode that I was using, automatically
Dash what?
Dash
Watch.
Watch, yeah, exactly. Thank you. And then I think server, the name of the file actually. Our file will be server.js. Let me see if it's working. npm start. Module not found. Which module not found? server.js. Server. Oh. So the problem is that I tried to run my server.js and it says I don't see any server.js. I cannot find it. Which file you mean? And you can see the server.js that I've created is outside of my folder. It cannot find it. So maybe that happens to you. I'm gonna move it inside. Alright, let's give it a try. Another module not found. Express. Really? We haven't installed Express, I think. Did we? No, we didn't. npm I express. Okay, npm start. Seems working. Let me do some changes. I just want to make sure if it's restarting correctly. Oh yeah, fantastic. Okay. So when you have your server setting up, the next thing is what you want to build. What is it about? Okay, whatever it could be. Anyway, whatever it is, we need database. So I would always like to do, after I write my server and it's running, I would like to connect to the database. So this means we need to write the function of connecting to the database. In the server, there will be always a folder. As I said before, you will find a lib folder as a library or utilities or something. I would like to use lib, and I use lib folder as a naming, but it's up to you. Inside of that, it will be library of different functions, like connecting, one of them connecting to database, a general function. Let's say another thing would be sending email function. These related just general functions, you can put it here and then import it whenever you need them. So connect db.js. Help me to do it. Thank you, Jakub, I just saw that. I need your help to connect to DB. npm I mongoose. I think we already did it, Jakub. So if we install mongoose, then we need to import it. The next thing is a function. Let's name the function connect db. All right. So let's try and catch. Mongoose, there will be a connect function. So the connect function receives, like returns promise, which means what?
Need async await.
Async await. It's your time, these reviews, and I try to do the most detailed things that maybe you need, so use it. And then inside we expect a URI, or the connection string, to our database. So this URI, or whatever we can call it, connection string or database, I don't know, whatever, it's definitely inside of our .env. So I would say let's get it from the .env, save it to a variable const. DB, let's name it connection string. Connect. No, let's name it DB URI. It's too much of connection string and so on. So it's definitely inside of a process.env.db URI, let's say, if we have. And then we pass it to our function. So when it's connected, we want a console log, just a little information that is connected. DB connected. If any error happens, let's just console log it for us to see what happens. Let's console log the error dot message. And let's export it. I think that's it, if I didn't miss anything. So inside of Cyber.js, I need to import it to connect to my DB also. So, connect DB. That's the function. Make sure you are importing that. All right. Let's call the function. And let's see. Error. The URI parameter must be string got undefined. Make sure blah blah blah. What's wrong? I don't get the console log of DB connected.
We don't have env file.
Exactly. This means that the .env, let's create it. So inside could bunch of things come. We need a port because I really like the port 77, not 5000. We need DB URI. Okay. So take your DB URI. I don't know where you have it, but I'm gonna take it from previous folders. Alright, I found mine. I'm going to create a new database for that. Fullstack authentication. And that's a review. And make sure you have always a .env .example. What was that? Who remembers that? This file. And what should we put here? And why? Exactly, Izam. So we put a dummy information about, let's say, it's like not dummy information, it's information about your colleague. If they clone this project from the GitHub, they need to know what they need inside of the .env. One of the things you can define, oops, what I'm typing, port, and another thing is DB URI. So from this project, you should put this there because when I push this code in the GitHub, definitely we don't push our credentials there. Definitely the .env doesn't go there. Yeah. And then when someone clones this, fantastic. And they want to run it. Let's say npm start after installing everything and so on, and it doesn't work. There's a bunch of errors. They don't know. They know it's about .env, but they don't know exactly what they should put inside of their .env and which name should be. Because we use the port name in our code somewhere. We use the dburi keyword in our code. And if you don't put an example there, that what they need in their .env, then they have to check the entire project. What do they need inside of the .env? So that means it's extra information for your colleagues or whoever working with you that in the same like project. Does that make sense? Okay. So we should be connected now to the database. The thing is that for the DB, for the .env, whatever you change, you can see the server is not restarting because server, the script that we have, the node, is not watching the .env. Because this is a script that we've written. We say, hey, watch every changes we do, restart it automatically. It cannot fudge. It cannot watch the .env because it's a secure thing. You can add some script to watch it, but whatever you change in the .env, you have to stop your server first and run it again. It won't be automatically. Okay? Still, I don't have access to .env. Still, I cannot read. It's undefined. Despite I have it. What's the problem?
Import.env.
Yeah. Import in our server. Import. There is a better way, a new way that I've seen. .env slash config. Config.js. Or I need also to import .env also here because we are using process.env. Let me give it a try. Do you know how to import it, guys? I don't remember it.
It is like that. It works for me. It's like DB connected.
Okay. With config.js at the end of it, or no?
No, without.
Okay.
Just config.
Alright, seems something is not working for me. Let me see. Process.env, dburi. You know what? I'm gonna debug. So, process.
I think you are importing it in the connect DB. You should do it in the server.js.
I do it also,
Yeah, okay.
and it's not kind of working. So I have access to the .env file, process.env, but my .env is not there, which I suppose I created .env outside. Let me check. Yeah. See? Let's bring it in. Alright, that's better now. Let me get rid of this here. Maybe that helps. And save. Please work. Yeah. DB connected. Great. Alright, fantastic. Server is running, DB is running. The next step is you need to sit and think about, but not now, because now is just be reviewing. I'm telling the thoughts that when you are building a project, when you go to your final project, you have 1 week of just planning, sitting, talking, creating the structure of your database, what you need, for example. Yeah. So it should be already, you have a very structured of planning, so to say. If you want to create a schema for products, let's say, what should be the schema, how it should look like? What do you need for the products? The price, product name, I don't know, whatever. Or if it's about a schema user, what do you need about the user? Is it only email and password? Is it more data, family name, last name, address, telephone number? What is actually you need? So everything should be written, planned in a nice way of in the MD file, that then you just check the MD file to know what to do. Okay. But for now, we do the MD file of planning just by talking now. Just now let's think about it. The next thing is, if you are building a user form for login or user information, whatever, you need to think about what do you need. Yeah, it depends on your application. So the basic application, if you register, they need from you a last name, family name, and then maybe username, an email, and a password. Yeah. We can have it more even simpler. We can have a username, an email, and a password, for example, let's say, or whatever. So the next step is creating the model and schema. A folder, models, inside of models, creating a user model with capital. Why with capital? Because the model is a class. When we kind of returning it, or when we build a model, the model is a class, and classes we've learned that they start with the capital. Okay. And inside of the model class there are lots of methods like find by one, and delete, I find by ID, create, and these things. So user model, I put a model. I usually don't put like this, like I name it like that, but because it's for the learning purposes that you know it's a model, I put a model at the end of it. Okay. Here's a model. We need our schema to be imported. Let's import. Can we do it straight ahead here to destructure it? Like importing model and a schema from Mongoose. Let's create a user schema. So think about, what do you want in the registration form about your user? You tell me.
Name, email, password.
Name, so name like a full name or something like that?
Username.
Hmm?
Username.
Username, okay. Username, and then let's say email you said, and definitely password because they need to log in.
Maybe age. Can we create also something with age? That if they are under 18.
Ah, okay. If they are under 18,
Not
then
login something.
we don't show some stuff to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Age, that's a good thing. All right, let's do it then. So what is the type of username? Definitely a string. Because we now to do require true, unique, true, and these things. You know me, I'm lazy to do. I'm gonna create then variables for that it will be shorter. So required equals to true, and come on, unique true, and what was next? Trim. True. All right. So username definitely is required. Definitely unique. And let's trim it if they put space at the beginning and the end of it. The next thing is email. The same type, string, required, unique, and yeah, the same, let's trim. The password is also type string because they use numbers, letters, and special characters. So string required. Should we use unique password? Should be unique.
Yeah.
Isam says no. Someone said yeah. Who was it? Yeah, Shinedu. Why? Why password should be unique? Imagine two persons registering in a website and they have the same password. Do you want to limit them? Like say, this password someone else is using? Or what?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's bad. If you do this, it's bad. It's it's like you never receive a message like don't use this password, someone else is using that. You never see that because yeah, everyone is free to choose a password that they want, and if you say someone used already this password, you are leaking information, and then you know, oh, there is a user in this website that they used my password, then maybe I can find who was it. Yeah, so it shouldn't be unique anyway. Everyone can use any password. Two users can have the same password, so it's okay. How about trimming? Should we trim? Really? What if yeah, I think trim is a good one. You know what, I would like to ask Copilot about this. No, don't answer anything. Wait. Should we trim passwords in schema? And why? Trimming removes leading and trailing white spaces. Okay, username, email. So this is useful for username and email. Security concerns. Password should be stored exactly as entered by the user before hashing. Yeah, exactly. Because when you hash that, it's different with a space or without a space. So that's the reason actually. Alright? So we shouldn't trim them. They can have spaces if they want. Alright. And the age, everyone knows it should be like, yeah, the type is number, type number, and yeah, required, because sometimes maybe you don't care about the age, you know, but if, like in this case, like Mickey's application is very sensitive about age, then you have to make it required, because you need their information if they are under 18 or not. Okay? And numbers get no spaces, because trim is a function for a strings, so you know, don't need to trim it. And ages don't need to be unique, because you have two persons at the same age, it's possible, so it shouldn't be unique. And that's it, I think. And later, if you want, for later, we don't do it today, but we did it yesterday, verified. Yeah. And by default is false. Let's say type boolean, and default everyone is false at the beginning until they click on the link to be verified. Let's create the model. So we create the model, let's name it user. Yeah, user model. The user model is the model function receiving two things. The first thing is the name of the collection that we want to save all the users there, and the schema. So far, is everyone following? And is everything clear? Alright. How is the pace? Is it balanced? Not too slow, too fast? Alright. Great. So after you have your schema and model, this means you are ready to create the endpoints for that. Yeah? You are ready to create the routes for that, and like an endpoint for getting the users, an endpoint for saving a user, an endpoint for authentication. Like we make it a different endpoint, like different route for authentication, or so to say, registering and logging. Okay, so yeah, so you're ready to go with that. The next step is when you have your model ready, when you have your schema ready, then let's go to create routes. New folder, routes. For now we have just user router. Let's have user router .js. The reason that we don't use capital here in this case, because it's just a function, it's not a class. If it was a class, like models, then we would say user with capital, yeah? So the reason that we use a small letter for these routes, because routes are functions only, so that's why. So let's import router. I don't know if it's named or default, but if it's default. Alright, no suggestion. Let's give it a try. So let's initialize our user router. So what I would do, so there are out there, they say router like this and router, but I always would like to be specific when I'm coding. I understand what is this router. Is it about user, products, or pets, or whatever? So usually I name it in this way, user router. It's just naming, so it's all good. So the first thing is before we continue, always try to have your base router, like the base route in your URL. Base, like the base URL, I mean. So it's always defined in the server. Yeah. So here you want to define the base URL to slash products slash whatever slash users slash these things. So the base URL should be defined first. I think in my idea it's good that you define first here and then you jump back to your router. Okay, so we can say app.use. The meaning is, someone translate this line for me in plain English. When you say app.use, what does that mean?
Use the app.
Oh. So why I don't say here app.get, app.post, app.delete. Yeah. When I was teaching you, I remember I even wrote this for you. I said the plain meaning is that. I said it thousands of times to you.
We can use for all of get, delete, and post.
Yes, exactly. When you're telling app.use, it means, again, the plain language of English, for every request that is coming. That is the meaning. So for every request that is coming to slash, I would like to put API at the beginning, and I will tell my reason at the last day of the module. So app.use, for every request that is coming to slash API slash users, in this case we're talking about users. That's the meaning. It helps you to understand what you're doing. So when I'm telling talk to yourself when you develop, it's so helpful. When you're developing something, just talk like that. So app.use, for every request that is coming to slash API slash users, I want to run a router for that. That router is the one that we created, user router. I think we didn't export it, but anyway, user router. So we need to export it first and then import it. This one. Let's export. And let's import. Yeah. So because you can have different routes, we'll have also another route. So for every request that is coming to /API/users, go to this file. That's it. And it comes here, and then you can have now your specific routes that you want. So the first route is always, I would do is like a get route that is to my base URL, the base URL, which is HTTP localhost 777 /API/user. This is the base URL. And if it's a get method, so we can say user router dot. If it's a get method, if the request that is coming is a get method to the base URL localhost 7777 and then a /API/users, what we defined, then this means this. Whatever you add here, let's say all products, you can do that, it has no problem. But the request that is coming should be like this: /API/users/all products. Then it comes here. Now it's correct. Okay? So it depends how you want to do it. But because it's a GET request, and if you wanted a GET request coming to get all the users to /API/, you can keep it like this, or you can have it as all users, and then here then should be in the request all users. It depends how you wanna do this stuff. Okay. So when a request coming to /API/users and the method is get, we want to handle that with a function. And we know that it's a res next for error handling. So we're gonna try and catch const. When the request is coming, we want to get all the users that we have. So something like all users, or let's say users equals to wait. I need to use my user model. Didn't I export the user model? Because it doesn't give me a suggestion.
Nope.
Ah, okay. Yeah, exactly. I didn't export it. So let's export. So now I should receive the suggestion. Yeah. Don't forget put the .js at the end of it. Alright. User model dot find, which is for finding all the users. You can put some option here. Let's say age bigger than 18. You can do that. Yeah. But we want in this case all of the users. Then no filtration. And response status 200 with send the all users to the front end. If something goes wrong, any error can happen. We use next and send an error to our global error handler. The status, I think it's not a problem with, because always forgetting something, especially everything like all users and so on, it's not an error from the front end. It's most of the time something maybe go wrong within the server, so I would like to blame the server. And the message is like whatever happened with the error dot message, error dot message, because if it comes here we have an error that inside of it there will be a message. We will pass it to the global error handler. Yeah, that's it. Fantastic. Let's test it. I would like to test always what I do. I want to make the request to this endpoint. So you can use Postman or whatever you use. I would like to use the client, the REST client. So I'm going to create a users.http file. Testing that. A get method to http //local host 777/API/users. Let's do it. Fantastic, it's working. I received empty array because I don't have any users still there. Is it working for you? All right. How about others?
Do we have to import somewhere the user router because it's not working for me?
Yeah, you have to read the error, Lotfi. You need to learn reading errors.
Yeah, it states user router is not defined.
In which file it's telling that?
Server.js.
Fantastic. So in the server.js you're using this line, correct? User router. Make sure it's important.
I haven't imported it. Yes.
Is it imported?
Yes, now it is.
So is it working now? Let's share your screen.
Okay. Unexpected identifier mongoose. Okay, I'll share my screen.
That's a good error. Let's see. All right. Let's see. So I would like that you make a bit bigger, your terminal. Fantastic. You are trying to import Mongoose and it's telling you, I don't know this. And it's coming from your user model.js line 1. Yeah, in the line 1, the problem is sitting there. What do you think? What's the problem?
Here's something.
No, it's telling you the problem. The error is telling you that it's just highlighting in the terminal. It's exactly telling you what's the problem. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
Try. Yeah, it seems working. Try to make the request now with the user's HTTP. Cool, working.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. The reason that I'm emphasizing that you need to share your screen for errors especially is you're learning only from errors. You're not learning if you don't have errors. You just have it in your mind. You have to love errors. When an error happens, you're gonna say, oh good, I'm gonna learn something. So if you just run away from the errors, you don't learn anything. Alright, the next thing is, that's it, let's keep it like that. What I do, and what, if you work in company, they separate the endpoints of registration and login in different route. Okay, because last time when we were working on it, we did everything here in the entire file: registration, login, get, delete, patch, and everything. We keep this user router for general stuff, yeah, for example, for getting or for deleting or for updating. But about registration and login, because it's a part of authentication, so to say, part of security, we always separate that in another route, so to say. Okay, these two endpoints, the two endpoints of registration and login, we just separate it from the general endpoints of the user. Does that make sense what I'm telling? Alright, so this means that I need another router, and usually you would see it, they name it like something like that, AUTH router, like it stands for authentication router, yeah, .js. So here we always have two endpoints. One is responsible for registration, one is responsible for logging in, yeah. And before we go to complete to write these two endpoints, I always start with here to create the base URL, the base endpoint. So the same language for every request that is coming to / in this time let's say auth, let's name it API / auth. Then we want to say go to this file, auth router. Okay, we don't have still auth router to export and so on, we didn't write anything. So if I save, I get error, but anyway, let's do it. So this is the base actually endpoint. For every request that is coming to HTTP / localhost, the port number 777 / API / auth, then it goes here. So inside of the auth router, let's create the router again. So I'm going to say import router from Express. Let's have const auth router So we have two endpoints here and a registration endpoint, which is to HTTP. The base URL is HTTP / localhost. My port number is 777 / auth / API / auth. So the first thing is register /register. But I want you to tell me which method is it. Is it get? Is it post? Is it patch? Yes. Jakub says post. Is everyone agree? Are you sure? That's good. I'm happy. I just wanted to challenge you when I say, okay, I think everyone is sure. Yeah, it's a post method. Can you give me one only reason why it's a post method? Yes. Jakub says we receive data. Isam says because we're sending data to backend to get authenticated. Fantastic. In other words, we expect data is coming here inside of the rec.body. It's a user data. Inside is username, Gmail, I don't know, age, whatever is your schema wants. You want to get that and save it to the database. That's why we need post. Okay, let's stop here. Let's go to a break and then we will continue that after break. Let's be back at 48. Yeah, see you soon.